So let's get to it. Let's say hello to Kelsey and Edward. So Kelsey, tell us what's happening.
Me and my boyfriend met 2 years ago at a party. He was so attached to me. We've been inseparable ever since. We moved into a beautiful house. We had all these dreams of like getting married. I want kids. But now we've been living in this house for a year and it's still no ring, Steve. So how do I get the ring, Steve? That's why I'm here.
When you wait, until you're engaged with the date set and the deposit, yeah. Moving in with your person and exploring certain things that are new to you guys versus going through the trial run and you may never get there, no shade. But what if he decides that that's not what he wants?
What about when you guys talk about this? When you say, when are we getting married? What does he say to you?
Well, he's very...
Yeah, he right there. What you say?
What did you say to her?
What
you say to her?
No, let's...
Because it could be two stories. She could be saying something and he could be... she could be hearing something different.
That's true.
What are you saying to her?
Well,
No, I don't. We don't.
be honest with you.
No, brother. Tell us.
I tell her all the time, I'm enjoying the moment right now. We're building a bond together. I'm from LA. Of course, I don't have a lot of, great positive role models that are married in front of me. So
we're building a bond. I'm gonna stop you right there.
Go ahead.
Because you know right away if you want to marry somebody, especially at your age. You're not 20. You didn't just discover this relationship. You've experienced life. I have a hard time when I hear men saying we're getting to know each other. We've been here for years. Well, how long does it take? When will you know? You know. And you know whether or not you want to do it right now or not.
So
you know that.
I want to just point out, and in the moment process, as your girlfriend was talking about being unhappy, you were smiling. So I feel like that's an incongruence in this relationship, and you're withholding, and there's a deeper issue. It's not about whether he wants to get married or you do. There's something else happening here. When you're talking about feeling in pain and what you want, and your partner's smiling, that's a bigger issue. So, move out. Move out.
All right, she can fix this right now.
Right.
This is all you got to say. If you want me to continue the way this is, I need a ring and a date. If not, I am going back to where I come from, and when you want me, you come and get me. That's all it is.
My man, didn't I say that?
Are you willing to do that?
And hold up, and let me tell you this right here. I'm looking at them two right there.
Uh-huh.
This is the chick of his dream. This top of the line. This dude hit jackpot.
Yeah.
He know it.
You outkicked your coverage, bro.
He can't do no better than this.
Yeah, you done outkicked your coverage.
Oh, man.
He done outkicked his coverage. That's what I'm talking about.
Outkicked his coverage.
Okay.
The moment she put that down, I'm gonna tell you how I know, because Marjorie did it to me. I gave her a ring in December. She went home, told her mom about the ring and all that. January came, she said, so Steve, when are we getting married? Yeah. I told her, I said, baby, I just got out that divorce. Let me clean up a few more things, because there's some mess hanging out here. She said, we can clean it out together. I said, no, just let me get myself together. She took the ring off. She handed it to me.
Wow.
She said, I'll put this on when you let me put a date on it.
Big fact.
I took that ring, put that thing back on her hand. I said, when you want to get married? This was in January. She said, June 24th. Our ass was married 5 months later.
My girl.
She did it to me because she was the chick of my dreams.
Yeah.
Tell me, man, the reason why you don't think it's a good time to get married.
Well, I definitely want to... I've been in prior relationships, of course, and, I haven't got married up to this point because normally, you get past the representative stage where, everything is like, lovey-dovey and everything, and then it becomes the actual person that you're talking to. I can't do no better, Steve. You're right. I love her. She's awesome.
But see, here's the problem. What you have in your right arm is the girl of your dreams. So the date ain't important for this guy because he got the girl. What you now have to understand, bruh, is now that you've got what's important to you, you now have to provide what's important to her. My man, Edward, do your thing, man. Make it right for her.
Definitely.
This be a good year, man, to go and make it right for you. Because you got a sweetheart of a girl, man. You really do.
Thank you.
And hey, y'all.
The fact that people have normalized massaging women's egos while demeaning or belittling men is quite something. How has it been normalized to tell a man that their woman is the best they could ever do, which is very common by the way, and yet no one ever tells women that her man is the best she could ever do? Would telling a woman that even get the claps and cheers? It would be met with sneers, eye rolls that would relocate the sockets back into the brain, and every form of verbal and non-verbal expression of dissatisfaction known to man. It is impossible for women to tell each other that their men are the best they could get because they don't even like seeing women making their men happy in the first place without labeling them all sorts of names, playing into the whole role of feminism and breaking down the family structure. While women tell each other that they are queens and they deserve the world and then some, men are out here telling other men that they are secondary to their women for claps, cheers, views, and ratings. For the record, women who tell men that they are kings and they deserve the best out of relationships and their general interactions with women are labeled pick-me, while men who do the same are cancelled. This kind of thinking is what gets us to men still paying for dates in this era where women are strong, independent, and capable of doing what a man can do because of the widespread belief that her time is much more precious than his, and as such, he has to pay for it.
Hear from you.
During the dating period, after like 4 or 5 months of dating, I just wondering at what point does it get, do you have to pay, did the woman have to pay when they go out? The guy is asking that there should be half and half at that point when you already.
At what point?
When you already been dating for 4 or 5 months.
Right.
Yeah.
Look, okay, to give you a quick answer on, firstly, I think we should just deal with the who should pay thing to begin with. When you're on a date, who should pay?
Surprise, surprise.
I know. I mean, that's what I told him. I'm sorry.
But-
I would say, I'm dating. We're dating.
But here's the
gentleman here.
okay. He's supposed to pay.
Yeah, that's what I told him.
But you're supposed to have sex with him whenever he says.
No. Whenever both.
Where does this double standard come from? I'm sorry, it's the reality. You guys can moan at it all you want, but the moment you say to a guy, you have to fucking pay for my time, you're saying this relationship isn't equal. This relationship isn't equal. My time is worth more than yours, so you should pay for it.
Subsequently, it is common upon the termination of a relationship for a woman to tell a man that he wasted her time because she has been made to believe that her time is more precious than his. The same kind of thinking is what gets us to happy wife, happy life.
Wonderful man, love him, but we've had the same fight for about 20 years. He has a problem where he thinks that my family is too involved in our personal business. Because I come from a large Hispanic family, and yes, I brought 10 of them from Cleveland with me.
Whoa. All them people that holler, them your family?
Yeah, they're all from Cleveland. See, my family's always been there for me, and my husband comes from a very tight-knit family. In a Boricua family, it's a little different. So I understand that. I give him the authority in the house. I respect him as the head of the house, but I like their input. So sometimes I tell them things, and yes, they do some things with us. And so he gets sometimes where he doesn't get mad, but he's like, I need some personal space. And I'm telling him, okay, go to the bedroom. They're coming over. And so I don't understand. Do you think he's really being a little bit overly sensitive when it comes to my family?
No, I think your husband is 100% correct.
But I don't agree.
Uncle Steve, listen, I came here because I've been outnumbered for 24 years. First of all, let me correct her. We've been together 24 years. We've never, ever had a fight. Now, we've had intense fellowship.
Yeah.
But never a fight.
Yeah.
Listen, we don't do nothing without Puerto Ricans. On our honeymoon, Uncle Steve, our honeymoon, she bought her grandmama.
Wait. There's a reason. Wait. Hold on. There's more to this. My abuela came, but let me tell you why. First of all, we were married. We didn't have any money. We didn't have nowhere to go, and we were just starting off. We didn't have any money.
We need your grandmama, though. You don't need money to do what you needed to do.
Listen.
That's free.
This is not, listen. Steve, what happened to happy wife, happy life? He keeps me happy, which he does. He's very good to me. Great man, mentors.
Talk about me, girl.
2 master's degrees. He's great. He's awesome. It's just this one area that, like, my family they're there for us, and he knows that too, right?
They are there for us. But some stuff gotta be for us. That's what I'm telling them.
Will we ever get to see it again? No.
Get to see what again?
Your hair. Bring it
Lady,
back.
man, you ain't dating, no.
Okay.
We'll ever get to see it again like we kicking it somewhere. No, my wife like it just like this.
Hey, that's all that matters. A happy wife is a happy life, so.
Happy wife, happy life. You ain't never lied about it. Bill just wants to enjoy a meal.
Hi, Steve.
Oh, good. Hey, how you doing?
Good. Whenever my wife and I go out for dinner, she always orders a salad with water. I always get meat, steak, and potatoes.
Yeah.
Well, when she's done with her salad, she starts nibbling on my plate. Nibbling and nibbling.
Right.
So it's getting kind of annoying of what should I do?
Well, Bill, you seem like a pretty seasoned guy. How long you been married?
20 years.
Yeah. You ain't figured it out yet, huh? Well, so when your wife sees this on TV, oh. That's your wife right there?
It.
You said that in front of your wife?
Well,
what's the matter with you? Bill, what's the matter with you? Listen to me. Come here. Let me do something for you. Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay, I'll just we're having a discussion.
The hell would you say that for with her here? Bill, you've been married long. You've been married 20 years.
I know.
They eat off your plate.
I know.
Listen to me. They gonna eat off your plate till you leave this earth. My wife eat off my plate. Everybody's wife eat off their plate. Here's the deal, though. You can't say nothing about that. You've heard the old saying, happy wife,
happy life.
Ta-da!
What are your thoughts on the expression happy wife, happy life?
I
was gonna say, I hope so, but yeah.
Why not happy spouse, happy house?
Yes, exactly. What about that?
But the women are in charge, right? Come on.
Is marriage 50-50?
Yeah. Yes.
So,
Yeah.
so.
What are your thoughts on the expression happy wife, happy life?
I think it's accurate.
Why not happy spouse, happy house?
Okay, that's more accurate.
It's both ways.
So why don't we have happy spouse, happy house?
I don't know. It's women who feel that they should just be happy and not.
Isn't that kind of selfish?
Yes, it is.
Isn't that relationship doomed to fail?
Yes.
Is marriage 50-50?
No.
Who carries more of the burden?
The man.
How so?
Well, if he's a working man, he's out in the field more working and taking care of the responsibilities of the home.
You see, happy wife, happy life, instead of happy spouse, happy house, prioritizes the woman's happiness while the man's happiness takes a back seat. The kind of thinking that has gotten us into if she's unhappy, that's his fault and is a common reason for divorce in this no-fault divorce era. If he's unhappy, that is also his fault and he should deal with it. By the time a third party gets to normalize telling a man that his woman is the best he could ever do, while not saying the vice versa, really raises some questions. Forget about the whole placing women at the center of relationships, which is like placing the Earth at the center of the solar system, but most importantly, she is the best in terms of what? Is she the prettiest, the smartest, the most resourceful, the most supportive, the freakiest, the purest, the most empathetic, the most understanding, the most loving, or the most anything at this point? It is highly unlikely that a woman could be all this to a man, but since most of them believe in their heads that they are 9s and 10s, it explains why they easily buy into the idea that they are the best a man can get.
Who is better at self-improvement, men or women?
Women. Self-improvement, definitely women.
Okay, rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 10.
Tens across the board. Oh, period.
Okay, isn't saying you're a 10 admitting there's no room for improvement?
No, not at all.
Isn't the first step towards improvement admitting you're not perfect?
You're right.
Said we were perfect. We just said
We
we
said
were
we're tens.
That doesn't. You didn't say that being on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being perfect.
Facts.
Well, what would be perfect then? On a scale of 1 to 10?
There is no perfect, really.
Isn't the first step towards improvement admitting you're not perfect?
Yes. Yes. 100%.
So then why would you admit that you're a 10, which is perfect?
Because you should feel in your own way that you are perfect,
Yeah, you
because
should
that's
embrace
confidence.
that, because that's manifesting that you are a 10.
12.
Isn't saying you're a 12 admitting there's no room for improvement?
Ooh, you got me. No, that doesn't.
No, because I mean, the universal scale.
You gotta speak in the microphone.
Is it universal scale? We're talking about like 20, right? Right. So like, there's always room for improvement. We just think highly of ourselves, but there's always room for improvement. We just think highly of ourselves.
Well, isn't the first step towards improvement admitting you're not perfect?
No, it just means that there's room to grow, right?
Yes.
It just means that
The
there's always
room to grow.
I didn't say we're perfect. We just said we think highly of ourselves.
Okay, but how highly is too highly?
There's not a limit. There's not a limit.
There's never
not a limit.
too much.
You don't. There's not a level to where I think so highly of myself that it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
It's not there.
I think everybody should think highly of themselves.
You should too.
All the way
Yep.
out in the outer
You
space.
should have the most confidence.
Okay,
high in the sky.
What is more attractive to you? Somebody that's down to earth and doesn't take themselves too seriously, or somebody who walks around and thinks they're all that?
I like both. I mean, no, I would.
It's like a mixture of both.
It's like it is a mixture of both. You want someone who thinks highly of themselves, but
also knows how to. Yeah.
Well, how can you be both? Aren't they contradiction?
It's very possible.
Yeah,
Look at that one. Like, I think highly of myself, and I'm hella goofy and down to earth at the same time. And I'm single, so
But we know that we're not better than anybody else.
A man could have had the prettiest woman he ever had, but that was all she had to offer. She believed she is a 10 and hence no need for self-improvement or anything. While she was the best to him in terms of her visual appeal, attending parties with, and having fun with, when it got to doing life, she wasn't the best at listening, understanding, or being resourceful in the relationship. She had a nasty attitude, poor communication skills, blamed every wrong thing she did on horoscopes, she didn't respect his or her family, she didn't have any goals in life, and she shared every part of her life on social media, including relationship struggles for clicks and likes, and every wrong thing you wouldn't want in a long-term partner. When he was looking for someone to go out with on Friday or go away with for the weekend, none of all these mattered, but they did matter when it got to the long term. The woman he decided to settle down with was or wasn't the prettiest or the freakiest, something that would be disrespectful if you told her by the way, but she is the smartest, most resourceful, and most down-to-earth he ever met. When it came to investing for the future, she was everything he either was not or was, and then some: the go-getter, the business-minded person, the family woman, and everything someone would want in a long-term partner. It is not uncommon to hear ladies ask, why am I good enough to date but not good enough to marry? Hopefully you have an answer by now. Men are gradually learning to never domesticate wild animals or leaving wild animals in the wild. You could be the best short-term partner but nowhere close to the best long-term partner, and that is not only restricted to women, as you will find out shortly, even though women learn that lesson a bit late, with late in this case being used cautiously and also being relative. We don't hear anyone telling women, let alone women telling women, that their men are the best they could ever do. And if anyone did, you could just guess the response. While it might be flattering for a man to know he is the best the woman ever had, just like it is for the woman to be told that, it might be true, but it would rarely be practical. The true part revolves around the fact that women today don't just settle. We have moved past the era of shotgun marriages where women had to get married to the men who impregnated them, and we have also moved past the era of marriage and long-term commitment being mandatory, at least for women, for their support and the support of their offspring for the attainment of reproductive success. The stigma around single mothers is gradually fading over time, and as such, women don't even have to marry following pregnancy. Blended families are now becoming the new norm, which further supports the fact that women don't just settle for the heck of it. Today, women are as independent as men, make money as men, and own property or businesses as men. So, by the time a woman settles, it is mostly out of choice instead of out of convenience.
He really fit the bill, you know?
The bill?
White collar, college grad. Loves dogs, likes funny movies. 6'1", brown hair, kind eyes. Works in finance, but is outdoorsy, you know, on the weekends. I always imagined he'd have a single-syllable name, like Matt or John or Dave. In a perfect world, he drives a 4Runner, and the only thing he loves more than me is his golden lab.
Hopefully some hair on his head. But I mean, even that's not a deal breaker these days. A nice smile. Yeah, nice smile. My smile just might do it.
Wow, that was depressing.
Lori Gottlieb, help us here. Lori is here. She is the author of Marry Him, making the case for settling for Mr. Good Enough. Lori, look, feel my pain for a second. There are a lot of lonely men out here who are good guys. But women and this list, it's maddening. Make the argument at the center of your book, please.
Okay, you know, I'm not telling anybody to settle for somebody that they're not totally in love with or physically attracted to or anything like that. The book is based on a survey where men and women were asked if they got 80% of everything they want in their ideal mate, would they be happy with that? And women said, no, that's settling. And men said, 80%, I'd be thrilled, that's a catch. And so
80% to the women you surveyed is settling?
That's settling because, you know, the question is, what actually makes us happy in long-term romantic love? And, you know, that's the question that I explore in the book. And I'm a journalist, so I went out and I asked neurobiologists about chemistry, and I asked behavioral economists about demographics, and I asked marital researchers and divorce
lawyers. What did they say?
And, you know, the thing is, we're too picky about the things that don't matter at all for long-term romantic happiness, but we're not picky enough about the things that actually do matter.
Okay, so break that out for me. What are women? You know, it's pretty simple. It's pretty simple with men. Come on. What are women too picky about here?
Well, I'll tell you, men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date. And men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind. And she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes. Or we were having a really good time and I thought he was cute and he was interesting. But then he did this Austin Powers impression. And I just can't get that out of my mind and I can't go out with him again.
Okay, here you go.
And
so, can I make your other point, and then I've got another quick one for you before I lose time.
I was just going to say, Austin Powers guy could be the love of her life. If he does these impressions on the second date, okay, don't go on a third. But maybe he was just nervous. The guys who are bad first daters might be great life partners. You don't know.
Okay, let me make the other argument. You have to have a list Lori, you have to. You just can't run around dating any Tom, Dick, or Harry. You have to develop a list,
but you have to have the right things on your list. They have to be the right things. The character things, is he kind? Do we have the same life goals? Do we have the same values, the fundamentals? Do we enjoy each other? How do we communicate with each other? Somebody said to me, this woman that I was really interested in wouldn't go out with me because I didn't read the same books that she did. But she's madly in love with this guy who reads the same books, but he doesn't call her when he says he will.
Bearing this in mind, it is highly unlikely that a woman would settle for a guy who is not the best she believes she could get. And if she does, this era of no-fault divorce laws and female empowerment allows her to file for divorce and just stay alone or move on to the next best thing. The point being, women roleplay their wedding day as young girls in their bedrooms with a pillowcase acting as the veil. Central to the fantasy of the perfect wedding is the man of her dreams, and so, she's not walking down the aisle if it is not to the man of her dreams. You know the whole thing surrounding ultimatums and the coercion of men into marriage. A woman cannot be issuing a man an ultimatum if she does not believe she is the man of her dreams. It is worth noting that since she can never be the best a man can get, neither can he be the best a woman can get. So the best for him would be, is he the most fun person, the most financially stable, the most down-to-earth, the most family-oriented, the freakiest, the most resourceful or supportive of her dreams, the most socially dominant, the most faithful, or the most romantic? The kind of men women choose as they peak in the mating market are rarely the same ones they eventually end up settling with in the long term. The most desirable man for a woman in her 20s is not the same one for one in her 30s. While she might want someone who is always turning up for every weekend in her 20s, her priorities changed in her 30s and she was looking long term. He was fun to be around, she could show him off to her friends, take him to office parties and show him off to her colleagues, she was willing to pay for a weekend getaway for him, but he did not want to get married, or have a family, or set long-term goals. He never saw beyond the party on Friday nor the next weekend. And when she wanted something serious and long-term, she ditched him for the guy she rejected in her 20s. Now with a kid or two because she was most fertile when she was running around for fun, she looks for the nice guy.
Have you always been attracted to quote-unquote good guys?
No, and I think a lot of women between 18 and 25.
40.
And I won't even say not even, or 40, right. When we're in an immature mindset, we like bad boys, thugs, street, hood. And those men don't always treat you the best way. And what's sad is, it takes us being absolutely broken down to a point where it's gonna take years of therapy to get us back to where we were once before, to really determine, I should have been with a man that opened the door, a man that asked me if I ate or not, a man that wants to provide and protect, rather than a man that can good and smoke you out.
So
Y'all should put that shit.
I mean, I want him to good as well.
Right.
Like a woman,
with a woman, like they could get with a man that has 100+ body count and they don't care. They're like, whatever, an experienced man. And I've heard that from multiple women. They're like, whatever, experienced man, whatever, I don't care, blah, blah, blah. But a man, like, you tell them, like, yeah, I have like 15 people. What the fuck? You got 15 people? You've been ran through, you've been this, you've been that. And I really feel like that's not fair for women. Like, men can do whatever, and women, like, are devalued automatically. And I feel like it's because of, by the fact that we are penetrated and not, men like.
Well, life isn't fair.
Life is clearly, as a woman, it's not fair.
But like, you're trying to compare apples and oranges.
Yeah,
we're different. Like, I don't have some of the advantages in life that you have, and you don't have some of these advantages I have. I'm stronger than you.
Okay.
But I don't have your beauty, right? You can get
that's for damn sure.
You can, hey, fuck you.
And rightly,
I'm professionally sexy, you bastard. I can't, like, you can get certain things as a young, attractive woman that I cannot get.
It's a conquest for men to
There's
get
that too.
women,
That
so
too.
it's like a prize. But for us to get men, like, you can go outside and find anybody today.
A woman getting sex is like a man lifting up a stone.
Yeah.
It's like it's a heavy rock. All right, done, easy.
So that's why, like, a man's body count is like a source of pride.
We
for
have
them.
to work for it.
Yep.
Yeah, and they hold it very, like. But for women, it's like you can't really brag about that. It's like someone with high metabolism being skinny.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, and
Like
that's
a skinny guy having abs.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah.
Rello?
Men and women are different. I don't know if you've noticed that. This is probably one of the most common questions you field here, and I
on this
field on my
podcast.
channel. You probably.
That's why I want you guys to answer
as
instead
well.
of us. We talk about this almost every show.
Men and women are different, and it's time we stop looking at the reason why you think it's not fair. The reason why you think it's not fair is because somewhere along the line, probably when you were much younger, and probably how old are you now?
20.
20. So obviously, somewhere along the line, whether it was through popular culture, through your learning process, through music, or whatever, it's you've come to the conclusion that men and women are blank slate equals. That they should, like, what's good for the goose should be good for the gander. So if men can go out and have sex as much as they want, then women should be able to go out and do that too. And the problem is men and women are not blank slate equals. They are different individual, different physically, different neurologically, different psychologically.
We broke this down on our podcast, by the way.
Yeah, I talked all about
in detail.
this
Studies are there.
Yeah, go
ahead,
check
Rolo,
it out.
Sorry.
So for men and women, part of those differences is mating strategy. So for women, they tend to be looking for quality. Men tend to be looking for quantity because it makes more sense, evolutionarily speaking, for men to be able to hit it and quit it, ejaculate and evacuate, get out of there as fast as possible, because in our evolutionary past, that was our best breeding strategy. Women's mating strategy is hypergamy, okay? Alpha fucks, beta bucks, okay? For men, it is unlimited access to unlimited sexuality, because the more children we get with every ejaculate, we can potentially mate with hundreds and thousands of women, really, if you can do that.
Yep.
And so for men tend to be what's called R-selected, meaning that they breed in number, like they spread the seed, right? For women, you can't do that because you've only got one cell that gets fertilized, and you have the higher investment cost when it comes to reproduction. So you're going to spend 9 months knocked up with a baby, and then you're going to, at least in our evolutionary past, speaking wise, you're going to spend at least 7 or 8 years raising that child from complete helplessness to being able to put food in its mouth, right? So to self-sufficiency before you can have a brother or a sister. Now, usually it happens like 4 years or something, like now, because we have modern medicine and convenience, but that used to be the way it was. Women have a higher threshold for finding the guy who's quality, who's going to exhibit being like very good looking, arousing, the guy you really want to bang, but he's also got to be the guy that has the 3 P's: protection, provisioning, and parental investment. He has to be the guy that's going to stick around and protect you while you're pregnant, because women are the vulnerable sex. And the reason why they're the vulnerable sex is because they have the higher investment cost when it comes to reproduction. So 9 months knocked up, I need my money, I need my child support payments, I need you to help me with the pregnancy, that kind of stuff. That's the parental investment side for this century anyways. So for men, it's R selection. For women, it's K selection, meaning they're looking for quality. They're looking for somebody who's going to stick around. They're going to put investment into that pregnancy, and hopefully that's the way it's going to work. Now, today in modern times, finding that in the same guy is next to impossible. So that's why cuckoldry comes in, where you can have sex with the hot guy in the foam cannon party. You can get the hot alpha guy, get alpha seed, beta need, right? You mate with one guy, breed with that guy, and then convince the beta
get the sugar daddy to pay you $1,000 a month.
You tell it,
pay your rent.
Again, what is it? Chris Rock says, who tells the bigger lies? Women. It's your baby. Yeah. It goes back to the jealousy thing. It goes back to the mate guarding thing. Men have to, historically, evolutionarily speaking, have always had to invest themselves and be obsessive compulsive about paternity. So when women say, oh, a real man takes care of other men's kids, no, that's a social convention that's meant to satisfy that optimization, because the guy she had sex with and bred with, is not the guy who's sticking around. So we've got to convince all these 80%ers, we got to convince all these beta males to think they're heroes, and they're white knights, and they're superheroes. Step up to, I'm the dad who stepped up. I'm not the stepdad, right?
Yeah.
So that's the popular meme. That's the popular social convention to get those guys to optimize to the alphas you had sex with, that you're having the babies. He's still sticking to his sexual strategy and nailing other chicks. It's the beta cuck, the blue pill guy that says, okay, baby, I'll be happy to step in, and I'll help you take care of the kids. And suddenly he's the noble soul for having done that.
Yep.
And that's part of the mating mechanics of what we have right now. But for me to accommodate and to optimize a woman's mating strategy, I have to sacrifice my own. That's what I call the cardinal rule of mating strategies. For one sex to optimize their mating strategy, the other one has to compromise or abandon it.
Bam.
So when, like today, it's usually abandonment for men. Like men have to say, okay, forget it. I'm just going to stick with this one girl because that's their only option. They're not a porn star, man. They can't go and knock it out with a whole bunch of girls. So what they do is they fixate and say, okay, monogamy. This is my best shot at reproducing. And so even if I got to take care of some other guy's kid, the chances are that somewhere along the line, she's going to have my kid too. And it becomes the new form of a mating strategy for beta males. So that's why when women say, well, you're a superhero for knocking it out with a bunch of guys. Yeah, because he's sticking to his mating strategy and not accommodating your mating strategy. While at the same time, when women are, slut shamed or you're loose for that. The reason it's not that you're loose or you're slut, it's you're a bad bet for paternity.
Yeah.
You're a bad bet for me saying that might not be my kid. And even if we have DNA testing and everything else, my evolutionary psychology, my lizard brain, my hindbrain still says, yeah, she's the town bicycle, and everybody gets a shot at it right there. And I don't know that if the kid's going to be mine or it's not going to be mine, even if that's not the cognitive thing that you're thinking, it's what your hindbrain is thinking.
The differences in the taste and the free will to exercise choice are attributed to the sexual revolution that followed oral contraception and legalization of abortion, where women were told they could be as sexually free as men. If you want to judge her by her past, then you're immature, because everyone has a past, but be rest assured that she will judge you by your future in terms of your potential, and she will be applauded as knowing her worth.
What does a guy get from a woman that he couldn't get from a cook, a cleaner, and a hooker? It goes back to why it's better to date girls with lower body counts, because they're more loyal.
Yeah, but I don't know about all of that.
So if a girl's a virgin on her wedding night, she has an 80% chance of a happy marriage. If she sleeps with more than 5 people, it drops down to 30%.
But that doesn't mean the man's gonna stay though. How many men?
Women leave most of the time. It's 70 to 80% of the time. If you're college educated, it's 90, and they cheat at similar rates. And there's actually studies that have come out recently saying that women cheat more than men, because think about it, we have way more opportunity. We walk down the street, say hello to a man, he's down. I'm saying as adults in a conversation, yes, there are going to be exceptions, but if you have an 80% chance, isn't that better than a 30% chance? And if you were a dude, you pick the 80% chance. And second off, the other problem is a lot of times what girls will do is they'll give it to the last guys for free, and then try to they're a used Honda Civic and trying to require BMW prices, but you can't go back to being a new BMW.
No, I do.
While women would like their egos to be stroked and to be made to feel special, they have a serious problem stroking men's egos and making their men feel special. The kind of thinking that gets us to most women wanting their husband to say thank you for preparing a meal, but they would never say thank you to him for bringing home the groceries. Their reasoning: it's his job to bring home the groceries, why should I appreciate him for doing his job? But they would like to be appreciated completely aware of what his job is but not what hers is. This plays to the whole male providing or breadwinning role and expectation persisting through the years, while the female's homemaking role has faded over time. While women still expect men to provide and is central for them when choosing a partner, a man expecting a homemaker in a woman is borderline if not actually misogynistic according to some. Female expectation is valid and justified. Male expectation is invalid and unjustified. The kind of thinking that gets us to the widespread belief that everything that men do for women in a relationship is the bare minimum, while everything women do for men in a relationship amounts to sacrifice. Gratitude is a very important component in any relationship, and studies on the economy of gratitude document how partners appreciating each other for everything is fundamental for sustainable relationships. The point being, the dream man, the dream woman, the perfect man, the perfect woman are all Hollywood creations, especially surrounding soulmates. While very few people are lucky to find the person they believe is perfect, not a single person is perfect, and perfect is relative. For most people, finding a partner is a balancing act, trading some traits, characteristics, or features with others. Men and women determine what is a priority for them and decide what they could forego in a partner. The dream man, dream woman is accompanied by the soulmate fairy tale that is central to getting divorce rates to 50% in most societies today. Love is important when forming a union, but it is never enough. In realizing this, successful relationships are formed by people who actively choose to stay with each other, work as hard as they can to maintain their relationship, and don't tap out at the slightest inconvenience under the guise of you only live once and ain't nobody got time for that. Part of a healthy, successful relationship is partners making each other feel special. But that should be left to the partners themselves, maybe with a few tips. A man telling a woman she's the best he ever have could be plain flattering or honest truth, and the vice versa could also be true. But it's the man or the woman who knows that and no one else. While there's nothing wrong with massaging anyone's ego, does it have to come at the expense of their partner? Could he or she be the best all-rounded he or she could ever do? Probably. But what are the odds? How about letting them decide between themselves? If we are pushing them, let's do it on both sides then, and that would be fair.